step in solving any problem is recognizing there is no alternative.
While America's infrastructure.
We fought for moral reasons. We stood up for what was right.
This nation will rise up.
All right, so how do we actually create the world to be best for everyone? Because right now it's obviously not. Every day, 20,000 kids are still dying from preventable causes. No one understands what's actually going on in terms of what's the best course of action. We have media companies that are influencing everyone at a mass scale to not be really educated. Our public school system is outdated. There's just a lot of issues, but this is the roadmap by which we're going to correct it. So let's put the end goal in mind, right? And then we'll start from there. So, best for all. Best for all, you could also look at it as like everyone's got their needs met, everyone's got enough, and then you can go and build beyond that. But, wouldn't it be best for every single person in the world to have clean drinking water? Or wouldn't it be best for every single child in the world who's born to have access to an effective, real education so they can understand and comprehend every single word that's out there? Right? Because that's what we have access to, but we got to distribute it to everyone. So we're looking to get to the best for all, right? You could call it the ideal. So how do we get there, right? Okay, so we got the general public up here, right? How do we get them? How do we get this whole situation where we're at here right now in 2021 when I'm making this video? And how do we make it best for all? Well, it's not so simple as just saying, let's just do it. You got to actually have a roadmap. So from the general public, we're looking for people first that are into self-improvement, self-betterment, or what we call self-perfection. Self-perfection is the ultimate. So self-development is usually just used as a marketing scheme of getting people to want to feel a little bit better until they have to go face their fears or really walk through resistance. And so self-perfection is what we talk about in our group, self-perfected. So you take people from the general public and then you join self-perfected. And within self-perfected, we have a few different tools that are necessary in the self-perfection process. One of them is self-forgiveness writing. And the other key one is Techno Tutor. Now, also part of self-perfected is having relationships with like-minded people, because how do we make the world best for all if you're just doing it all on your own, right? It's literally not possible. So we need relationships with like-minded people. So you got relationships, you have your self-forgiveness writing, because we hold on to so much, not even intentionally, just from our childhood and from the world, that we need to learn how to forgive ourselves. Getting forgiveness from others is not the point. The real point is learning how to forgive yourself, because you do have that authority, no matter what anyone has ever told you. Now, TechnoTutor is the answer to self-perfection, because with TechnoTutor, what you're doing is you're going through on an unconscious level within yourself, and you're cleaning out every single word and concept you've ever learned in your entire life. And you're placing it properly into your unconscious mind. So it's not clouded with different emotions and energies from the past. It's just the words itself. And it's so profound, because guess what? How am I explaining this whole video to you? What are all these, right? What is everything I'm saying? It's all words. And so when we really go through and we clean that up, and then we have an accurate understanding of reality, like dictionary-based definitions and the best definitions of these words, common sense stuff, right? That's what TechnoTutor is doing. It's a process, right? So now, as we have self-perfected, people actually using the tools, then it becomes an obvious next step is to share these tools, right? Because you give as you'd like to receive. And so sharing or what I call distribution of this is then the next step. So sharing / distribution. Now the brilliant part of this, the reason that, for example, TechnoTutor is not just something that's free. Well, one, when you get stuff for free, you don't use it. You don't actually value it. And so TechnoTutor is set up as a business so that it can then support the next steps within this, Right? Anyone who wants something for free or says that it should be like through charity, that's not how you actually create a world that's best, right? You'll see that in a moment. So sharing and distribution, then with that comes a lot of accumulation of money and resources and assets, because that's the current world we live in, where money is involved in everything we do. So we have to correct that. It doesn't mean get rid of money by any means, but it means redefining how we approach things like capitalism, how we approach things like exchanging value. Now, sharing and distribution, eventually, as you do this enough, you build networks, and then you get into positions of responsibility. For example, so now positions of responsibility would be getting into local politics, state level politics, federal politics, right? Getting into government, understanding the laws, because that's where the real change happens. Buying up media companies, being influencers, being celebrities, understanding how to pool money together and create your own banks, that type of thing. But if you don't have this as a basis of TechnoTutor, where you actually have gone through yourself systematically, looked at all the words you've ever learned, all your reactions to those words, all of your beliefs about those words, the associations, then you're not going to be trustworthy in the position of responsibility. So if you're missing this step right here, well, if you're missing any of it, you're not going to be actually effective. So you're not really at the step. You're not in a position of real responsibility. You might be a politician, or you might be an influencer and have 1 million followers on Instagram. That doesn't actually mean that you're going to help us get to the world that's best for all. But the cool thing is, if you already have that and you want it, well, you see the obviousness that we need to create a world that's best where everybody can win, at least at a base level, then if you already have somewhat of that, cool, join us, get involved, because it requires us to work together. Now, as positions of responsibility, now we can start to influence politics, right? The P word, right? That nobody wants to talk about and no one wants to get into it. We just want to complain about it. Guess what? If you have time to complain about the political situation, but you're not willing to get into politics, you're evil. Guess what? It's not that hard to get into politics. You got to just build your vocabulary, which is what TechnoTutor is about. Change your programming, change your beliefs about yourself, change your definition of what politics even is, so you can see it's just the ability to connect with people, to lead people, to guide policy, so we can create outcomes that are best for everyone. Such as, again, making sure everyone's got a real effective education. They got clean water. They got quality nutrition, right? We can set it up so that people have enough shelter so that we don't have to have homelessness. Right, but education's so key in that. Just watch my other videos. Now, within politics, then the next level that we have to influence is now how economics and the money system. So this is something that likely our kids are going to be working on, and we're raising our kids. If you see the kids with TechnoTutor, it's so obvious by now that they're elite compared to other kids. And it's not to judge other kids or anything. It's just to look at, we're now seeing what's actually possible. Like TechnoTutor is literally unlike anything you've ever seen, unless you've actually seen it. And so we have kids, for example, 4-year-olds reading advanced books, learning how to program computers, playing with electronic circuits for fun, learning how to garden, learning how to self-sustain, all while being a normal, innocent little kid. It's not like the kids that they're really good at reading or whatever, but then they don't even know how to like talk to someone. These are normal kids, but this is the new normal. So now these kids, by the time they're 15, it's going to be obvious to them of looking at, oh, why is the money system set up like this? How about we have some sort of maybe basic income, but a modification on that? Right? How do we set it up so that everyone's got at least their needs met in terms of resources? Because we do have an abundant world. And then from that, we can all support each other to go to that next level. So as we can influence the economics and the money system, as well as the education of everyone, and then we can have politicians that we know and we trust, we can see the common sense of their laws. Guess what? Now we can get in positions where we have the world that's actually best for everyone, meaning they got their needs met, and then we can support people to go beyond. so that someone like an Elon Musk, where a lot of people look up to Elon because he's so smart and he's so daring and he's trying to travel into space and reform how energy consumption is done and all that. Cool. That should be normal. Elon should not be anyone special, and Elon also has a lot to learn because he's now been divorced multiple times. I don't know his relationship with his kids. Again, I'm not judging him, but Elon's also got to get on board with this. Same with Jeff Bezos, same with Richard Branson, all these people that we look up to, that they're so great, right? Some people don't look up to them, some people despise them. But we're all in this together as humanity. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. We're all on this earth, even though some people are trying to leave this earth and go colonize Mars or whatever. Guess what? We're all still humanity, right? We're all technically made of the same substance. And so let's look at the common sense of that and realize, what's my responsibility in that? Am I going to be a person who's just spiteful and wants to go and do my own thing and avoid and hide? Because guess what? At some point, they're going to come knocking on your door if you don't end up being part of this solution. Because where the world is headed right now, they are working on putting in, it's called neo-feudalism, where the people who have a lot of money and a lot of resources and access to technology, and they're building this new infrastructure like the whole Internet of Things, where now everything's going to be able to be watched. With 5G going online, there's going to be facial recognition and cameras and all that. Is that necessarily a bad thing? A lot of people get paranoid about that. Not necessarily if our starting point of control changes. But right now, if you have the people at the top that see themselves as superior and better than the average person, that's an issue, right? We got to realize a basic equality. It doesn't mean we're all the same by any means, but a basic respect of a fundamental awareness that, hey, you're a human, I'm a human. We both got two eyes, we both got a mouth, we both got lungs and a heart. We're equal in that sense. We all have different things we bring to the table. And so the real question is going to be, who are you? Are you going to be part of this? And do you want to implement this system with us? Or are you going to just watch as a bystander until some consequence has to happen in your life that you realize the obviousness of what we're saying? And so do you want to go to a future where there's a handful of elite at the very top that have lives beyond your wildest imagination, and everyone else is basically a peasant just working, getting through the day? Where even with automation, what are you going to do for work in 10 or 20 years from now? And so this is a really, really important question. And if you have the awareness and the ability to process what I'm saying, because I realize not everyone can actually handle this right now, but if you see this, use this as an invitation, right? Get involved. We got a lot of different things we need, right? We need people to get into politics. We need people to become very rich and very influential. We need people to have awesome families and raise kids. We need people to show what it's like to be self-sustaining and have your own garden. We need to show people what it can look like to organize community, not from a starting point of reaction or out of fear, but out of a starting point of, we're all in this together. Let's actually come up with solutions that make sense for everyone. It's not that hard. You just need basic level of processing ability and vocabulary, and that's what these tools are. So let's make it happen, everyone. Hey everyone, so I don't sponsor my videos. I see no point in that. Sponsorships are stupid, frankly. But I am here to share that I do personal life mentoring, and I have track record to prove it. So I've grown some of my recent businesses from making about $3K a month, where I was stuck for years doing that, to $30K a month and plus. And that's profit, not just revenue. So there's that. Have another one of my businesses where in the past year I've grown it to over 150,000 of stuff where I wasn't even really trying, like it's definitely part-time. And so that's also stuff that I can help people with. So I have both in personal life and within business. Personally, I now have the wife of my dreams and the home of my dreams. All that's, I didn't even meet Jess until we've basically been together and knowing each other for less than 2 years. And we now have this. And we have a thriving homestead. We're planning on having kids soon. And we have a network of friends literally around the world. And this is all stuff that I can tap you into. I'm not special. I just have a few tools that work really well. And so for anyone who's interested in basically fed up with where you're at, a little bit pissed off, unsure, feel like you have some blocks, that's the type of stuff that I'm happy to work with you on, but I can't work with just anyone. So if this is something that you're at least interested in hearing a bit more about, send me a message. So I'm linking my Facebook below this. I'm primarily contactable on Facebook. So I'm linking it here. Add me as a friend and shoot me a message saying interested in mentorship. For that, we'll connect on Facebook, and then, we can chat about what would make sense. So that's that. Just so you know a little bit more about me. So I'm here on Earth to create a world that's best for everyone. I didn't realize that purpose until about 2 years ago, but it's become obvious to me. And the way the world's headed with COVID, lockdowns, division, all of that, we need people to actually unite and come together. And so it's not enough for just me to be successful and have a great life for myself and my wife and our local community. This is about, on a global level, all of us standing up, taking self-responsibility, developing ourselves, working through our past and all the traumas, and also designing our life so that we can not only have a better life for ourselves, but then over time we can amass massive amounts of wealth, get into politics, change the system itself, so that we can ensure that we have a life where everyone is basically educated, everyone has common sense, we can all work together as humanity, not in some utopian bullshit sort of way, but in a way where it's just simple, giving as you'd like to receive, where you can trust people, where you can actually see yourself in another person. And together, we can do this in the next 10, 15, 20 years. And so this is what I work on every single day. I have a network of 250 people around me that are directly working on this. We're getting into politics already. We have people very high up in media, as well as in banking and within the world of finance. So we have the connections. Now it's literally just on each of you to reach out and get connected. We'll plug you in and we can come up with solutions together. So that's what I'm here to do. And if this is of interest, again, reach out, find the Facebook link, and send me a message and send me a friend request that says, I'm interested in mentorship. All right, see you on the other side.